The coffee can full of nails, what Grandpa knew about value. Well, hello, friends. Welcome back to the Front Porch Lessons with Mark Morgan, me. Pull up a chair and set a spell, and let's talk about something that used to sit on the shelf in just about every barn I ever stepped in. It's a coffee can full of nails. Now, I'm not talking about them shiny new nails from the hardware store. I'm talking about them old bent nails, rusty nails, crooked nails. Well, the kind most folks today would just throw into the trash can without even giving a second thought. Every farm seemed to have one. As a boy, I never understood it. Why keep a bunch of old rusty nails nobody wanted? Why not just throw them away and go buy some new ones? But Grandpa saw something I didn't. He found an old bent nail lying in dirt. He'd pick it up and go stick it in that old coffee can and save it for later. Nothing was wasted. Nothing was thrown away that if it still had a little life left in it. One day I watched him dump that old can out on the workbench. He dug through it and all them nails until he found the perfect one he wanted. Then he carried it over there to the old anvil. He laid that old crooked nail flat and began tapping on it with his hammer. Ting, 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 ting. That old anvil made a wild, high-pitched sound. He did it not out of anger, not out of frustration, out of purpose. A few minutes later, that bent nail was straight enough to go right back to work. Back then, I thought Grandpa was a fixing nails. Now I realize he was teaching lessons. Because the world we live in today is a throwaway world right now. Something gets a little scratched, something gets dented, just stops working perfectly. We just toss it aside and go buy another. The sad truth is we started doing that to people too. Someone makes a mistake, someone goes through a divorce, someone loses a business, someone struggles with their health, someone falls on hard times. And before long, the world starts acting like they're no longer worth much. Like their best days are behind them. Like they're damaged goods. But I don't believe that. And I don't think Grandpa did either. When Grandpa looked at that bent nail, he did focus on what had happened to it. He focused on what it could still become. And maybe that's a life lesson. Some of the strongest people you'd ever meet aren't the ones who you would never got bent. They're the ones who got bent by life and found a way to keep going. They're the ones who, I don't know, could carry scars but still show up. The folks who had every reason to quit, but kept putting one foot in front of the other. The folks who have been knocked down, disappointed, heartbroken, discouraged, and worn thin, and somehow find strength to help somebody else. Now, it's going to hurt a bit to try to get straightened out, but it takes a little hammering, takes a little heat. And life has a way of teaching us lessons that we never would have signed up for. But you don't give up. You stand up straight. You shake that dust off. You still got work to do. You still got purpose, and you still got value, because there's a creator who never made junk. He's not looking at your worst day. He's looking at and he's not looking at your mistakes. He's not looking at the bend. He's looking at what you can still become. And so if you're listening today and life has left you a few dents and scratches in your soul, I hope you remember what Grandpa's, coffee can did. Those old nails weren't perfect, but they still were useful. They still mattered, every one of them. And so do you. Grandpa believed a bent nail still had value. And I think he believed the same thing about people too. And so do I. Well, thank you for spending a few minutes with me here on the porch today. If this lesson meant something to you, I'd be honored if you'd share it with a friend who might need to hear it. Until next time, friends, remember this. Just because life bends you doesn't mean life is finished with you. Listen, I'm Mark Morgan, and